Yes. Mhm. The right to a defense, including the right to be defended by counsel of one's own choice. Yes. Receive legal assistance without payment, without an individual has sufficient means to pay for it. Yeah. These are the international principles on the conduct of the legal profession. Yeah. United Nations, for the most part, these are United Nations principles. hmm the European Bar Federation. Yeah. I'd just like to know every member of the European Bar Federation for the last, 30 years. And the East African Law Society and the SADC Lawyers Association. Yes. It seems that the International Bar Association Code of Conduct does actually apply in my situation. And when I look through the number of nations that have knowledge of this, it's possible, yes, that they could be proper uh, places for redress. Now, this foundation of ethics, yeah, when you take a class of ethics, I only got a C plus, yeah, but it's a Bible course, and then the Book of Acts, 1997. But there should be another one in here about the associate's degree. Yeah, I know it's only 20 years ago, but I actually have an education. Yeah. Did you want to say I was incompetent? The responsibility regulated legal from primarily the judicial branch of the government of each state. There's a possibility that there's going to be a change in that. Now, I know when we talk regulation, because it seems to be something that you really don't embrace as a legal profession. Yeah, but we have a lot of regulation, don't we? I mean, you like to regulate, let's say, for instance, subsidized housing. Yeah. Why don't you get me every American that participates in subsidized housing where they are given the rent at 30% of their actual income? Because I found out that Microsoft is investing $500 million in housing. And when corporations sound charitable? Yes, they're not. See, every location where you receive subsidized housing as, well, a disabled person, mentally or physically disabled, yeah, a retiree where your Social Security isn't that much, yes. Some of these vulnerable groups of individuals, the homeless, yes, where I apply for rental assistance to get what seems like the astronomical amount of money of $800 to cover the months of January and February, yes. See, I didn't reschedule my sleep study even though I have the sleep apnea. Poop, poop, poop. No use doing a sleep study when you don't know if you're going to be able to plug in a CPAP machine. And then there's always the question of welfare and having to go on welfare so as to be on Apple Health, so as to pay for the specialist services. But I did include in my application for housing resources the actual doctor's note from BMO, yes, saying that they're waiting for the diagnosis of the sleep study. Now, when corporations start getting in the subsidized housing business, yes, I start thinking, well, my gosh, look at all those regulations. See, even though you, the tenant, yes, you're only obligated to pay 30% of what you receive each month in actual income, yeah, and you're making maybe $500 a month. You're getting a $700 a month apartment for $150. Now, that corporation has to get that other $550. Yes, I do. It's quite an investment, really, because when you think about investing in real estate today, let's say the population was going to grow over the next, 20 to 30 years, as much as Microsoft does not like that idea. It happens outside of their control. And you have these annual rental increases, and then the actual property itself, and the covenants and conditions of all subsidized housing. It sounds like such a charitable, so charitable on the part of corporations. But if I was to look forward as an investment, I think that they would be able to make at least 7% a year on that money. Yes, when you consider the actual appreciation of the property. Yes. The grants and other resources that are used to offset the subsidization of the actual tenants themselves. Yes. And then the possibility that as a corporate owned subsidized housing unit, it could actually be an investment if you did understand exactly what he's talking about. Oh, charitable corporations that are individuals. If I find out that any employee of Microsoft actually contributed to the private individual conspiracy of those that have knowledge of the deprivation of the rights of American citizens, myself, yes. My five sons in the Brennan School District. I noticed that Deacon was in a little video at Microsoft right now. I will sue every employee of the corporation of Microsoft that has any knowledge of what looked like such a good idea, but it wasn't. Yes. Now, let's say you're Bill and Melinda Gates. You're sitting there and all your money's in a big trust, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Yes. I just wanted to know, is it possible? Oh, you have legal caveats? Well, I hear that Microsoft's going into the subsidized housing business, considering the appreciation of land. Yes, the building codes and the subsidization of rents of those that are less fortunate as others. I'm going to look through all the subsidized housing of all corporations to find out right now. Now, Microsoft's doing it. Okay. $500 million sounds like a lot of money, doesn't it? It's like me as a homeless man going to the Housing Resource Center requesting $800 because I was not able to pay the rent in the month of January because I was not able to know that I was going to reside there. So I did not get any insurance to do the sleep study so that I'm suffering the sleep apnea that's causing the erectile dysfunction. Now, when I look at it, okay, I'm thinking that as a big giver, I'd like to get in the subsidized housing business where only 30% of your actual income is required to move in, and the unit itself is worth at least, well, I could put it on any price, really, consider it's all subsidized housing. I mean, I could sit on it for 20 years. Yes, I could take ownership of the property. Yes, I could resell it, fix it up, put a little improvements in it, some cosmetic improvements, and rent the place out for thousands upon thousands of dollars. I can talk to you right now. Now, there's an introduction. Oh, let me introduce myself. My name is Paul C. Budnick, and I'm in the subsidized housing business for those that are less fortunate in the world.